Hi! Well, as you can see from the title, this one's gonna be an introspective video. Hi, I'm Lake Udhaya and welcome to my YouTube channel. So post my Femina Miss India journey, a lot of people, which included my friends, my family, my followers, people who followed the pageant with me, aspirants, I was asked a lot of times that what could you have done differently? With your personal experience, what do you think things that you could have changed so that you would be able to perform better? And for the longest time, I told everybody that I gave my best, right? With everything that I knew, all the knowledge that I had at the time, I put in my everything, and I don't think I could do any better or anything else. But you know how they say that time kind of changes perspectives, and with time, I came to realize that there were a few things here and there which I kind of had in the back of my mind, which I didn't think were that important, which actually were the nitty-gritties that could actually make the whole journey a lot smoother for me. So without further ado, I will bring to you a few things that I think will make your journey a little smoother if you keep it in the back of your mind and actually actively practice it. First and foremost thing I realized that I could have learned was posing in front of the camera. I was not a model at the time, and I had barely done a few shoots here and there, freelancing and just, you know, collaborating with other photographers who were also starting off. So there was no team or a grooming expert to really help me understand how to look like in front of the camera. And when you go to Miss India, you realize majority of the pageant you're just shooting. You're constantly shooting for your sponsors, you're shooting content. There are a lot of photo shoots that happen that come out not only on their social media but also on newspapers, because you're associated with Times of India and you're going to certain events where, again, you know, your camera awareness is very, very important. So for the girls who already model and are already familiar with the camera, good for you. It's going to work out really well for you, because that is something that they look upon. But if you are not, if you are like me, who's just trying it without any prior experience, what I would suggest is take out a dedicated time in the weekends, maybe for like an hour, where you just put your phone on the tripod and just wear different kinds of clothes. Maybe a little Indian, maybe a little Western, maybe contemporary, and just try poses out. Click a timer, 10 seconds, you know, then cut it down to 5 seconds and then 3 seconds, because when the photographer is clicking, it just goes so you need to know how to do your poses. And I'm still learning it, and it is a skill which it takes time. And there, when you're in the contest, you don't have time until you actually learn how to be great in front of the camera. The pageant is over. You yourself can be a great judge of what you see, right? If you're a pageant aspirant, you're going to be looking at different pictures of different people. So if you're going to look a certain way, you can very well compare or just see from a third eye perspective, like, hey, you know what, this isn't great, like my smile isn't that great in this, or my eyes look a little weird, maybe if I do this it looks better. Favorite or highlight or save the ones that you like, so that you can improve upon it, and eventually by the time the pageant comes in, and luckily if you do get in, it'll be great for you. The second thing that is a kind of little personal for me was my hair. Yes, it is kind of preferred that you have long hair because there are a lot of styles that can be done on it, but my hair forever has been frizzy. Right now it's not, because I have a treatment done, and I really wish before the pageant I had gotten myself a smoothening or a keratin treatment, even though it kind of takes away the bounce that your hair has, but it doesn't matter. Bounce can always be brought by like back combing that people there before the shoots do, but it would save a lot of time, because I remember my roommate Louis, who is Miss Mizoram, had short hair, like hair as much as mine that is right now, and she wouldn't need to do anything with it, you know, she barely, even if she had to curl, it would just like take a second. But I had lengthy hair and it was thick, and I would take forever to do my hair, again reminding you that most of the days you will have to do the hair yourself unless you have someone assigned. But even on days that I would have professionals do my hair, it was just super unmanageable, because you have blowers that are, you know, being used in the photo shoots, and then your hair kind of flies anyway, and how much ever hairspray they put or how much ever they set it, it keeps like getting off. And it just, hair is such an important part. It's quite literally, with the, before the crown is the crown of your body. And I never gave that much importance to my hair. I mean, I knew I didn't like it and it wasn't soft and shiny like it should be, but I would just tie it up. And I wish I had practiced styling my hair and understanding what my hair needs before the pageant, so that in the pageant I wouldn't be so lost, and like my hair was super unmanageable throughout. And yeah, I wish I'd either cut it or I had gotten a treatment done, so that I would have one less thing to worry about. The next one, I think, is body aesthetic. I am not somebody who's naturally skinny. I have to work really hard to maintain a decent physique. And you have to remember, every time you're going into a pageant, you're going into a set of girls who in general are petite. Right, so either you work out and reduce your inches, not weight necessarily. I'm specifically talking about the fact that you should be able to minimize your inches before going in. I've been working out since I was 19, right? But it was never about aesthetics for me. The idea was just, workout did not come into my life in a way to make me feel thinner or prettier or whatever. It came as a way, it was like a coping mechanism. It has always been. The idea was to feel stronger, was to add on extra weights and extra plates, and, you know, just push heavier and not worry too much about what you're eating and stuff like that, or you know, measuring your weight. Or I would never care about numbers. But it is a fact that when you're going into a pageant, you should keep a check on your numbers. I felt like I was a little broader as compared to other girls, and I started to put on weight during the course of the pageant because of lack of diet control that was on me, honestly, and physical activity, because there was no gym or anything, and there's only so much you can do in a room along with the hectic schedules that you have. So yeah, I would end up feeling really insecure. There are times when, even when you're given clothes for shows and stuff, they look at your body type and they're like, no, you know, she has like wide hips, so maybe we should give her something frilly. So there were certain times when I would just get like loose clothes, you know, that wouldn't really have cuts, because like the snug ones would go to girls who are petite. If you also struggle that way with your body, I would definitely suggest losing out on inches and like going to a nutritionist or having a personal trainer if you can, you know, afford it, and actually keeping a track by, you know, using a measuring tape, writing down what your measurements were, and eventually seeing progress and keeping a track of it, because it will help. The next is, I wish I tracked my calories through the pageant. I used to be super hungry without realizing that I wasn't putting in the same amount of physical activity. Before the pageant, I would go to dance classes, I would go to the gym, I would walk a lot, so that kind of, you know, burnt the calories that I ate, because I in general had a huge appetite. But here I was eating the same amount, especially when there's a buffet, you're eating more because of all the variety that you have, and I was not working out enough, and that started to add on to my body. I learned the importance of nutrition and calories and counting your macros and micros after the pageant. But if you can, please do some research about counting calories, understanding how many calories your body needs according to your height and weight, and make sure you track that and maintain that when you're in the pageant, because there is no ghar ka khana over there. You can't specify, I just want egg whites and I just want brown bread, or you know, I just want fruit juices or celery and broccoli. But you got to know how to make do with the food you have, and how much of protein and fiber and stuff to take, so that your body does not start to like put on weight. The next one's a little philosophical, but will be really helpful if you keep it in mind. Don't engage in negative talk, because it's such a stressful situation. Post the shoots, you will have your friends and everyone trying to rant and trying to vent, and, you know, just trying to get it out of them, which is great. You can be a great listener, but don't engage in it. In life, if you're engaging in negative talk without realizing that maybe it's not affecting the other person, but it might affect you, knowingly or unknowingly, it'll start to show on your performance or in front of the camera and stuff, where you're gonna start to look dull. I would have like contestant managers come to me and say, hey, you know, you're looking a little tired, or you're looking a little exhausted. Is everything all right? Did you sleep? And I would be like, yeah, I did sleep, but why is that happening? But you don't realize the kind of words that come out of your mouth, the kind of company you have affects a lot on how you are as a person. This is general life fact, which is why I said it might be a little philosophical. But yeah, just try not to engage in negative talk of any kind during the course of the pageant, and strive really hard to find the happier things that you are going through, rather than focusing on the negatives, because there will be negatives and positives, and it depends on the kind of person you want to be. And in such an enclosed space with only a few people that you are interacting with through the course of 1 or 2 months, it's hard to, you know, bring out sunshine just by yourself if everybody else is kind of cloudy. But focus on it. The next one is networked at parties. Networking is pretty much 50% of the job in the industry, right? Even if you're planning to be a part of it after Miss India or even during Miss India, it's very, very important that you network. There are a few parties that you go to here and there. I've learned my way to network and to understand how to ask the right questions, but that again comes with experience. But I think this is a point for the introverts or ambiverts like me, who don't necessarily go out of their way to make conversations unless someone comes and speaks to them. They mind their own business. That stuff's not going to work. Anytime you do get an opportunity to meet new people, try to talk to them, try to understand what they do, try to introduce yourself, what you do, what you aspire to be, what you've always wanted to know. You'll realize that people are helpful once you become curious and show that curiosity. Rather than somebody who's sitting in a corner, because I mean, no one's going to really come to you and talk to you and trying to get to know you, right? There's so many girls. So yeah, if you want to like understand the scenario better or learn more, you should be able to network, and parties are a great place to do that. So no matter what you're going through at that point of time in your head, because it's very stressful, like I said, keep that aside. You know, have a networking face on where you're going to be someone who's just going to go out there, introduce yourself, and like keep that energy source within you that can open up at times like parties, regardless of what's going on in your personal life. I've learned that now, but I wish I knew that earlier. Now, this one's gonna be really important for people who cannot survive without a decent 8-hour sleep. You mostly will have activities, and you'll have 20-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts at times. You're going to be continuously working and in heels, and I know that can be exhausting. And you are working, so you don't really get to talk too much to others. But I would really suggest that you sleep on time, because I personally would not get a lot of sleep. I and my roommate, we were in different batches at times, and you know, we'd only get to talk to each other after the course of the day was done, and we would keep talking till like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, and it went on for like a really, really long time, to a point where your cycle becomes so off that you can't get it back on time. So then you will not get sleep till 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and there are times you have to wake up at 6, so you're barely gonna get 4 hours of sleep. And if with the schedule that you have, you're gonna go ahead and keep doing that throughout the pageant, it's going to really, really mess up your health. And I advocate this a lot, and I'm saying this now, sleep is the basis of wellness. Like your nutrition, your fitness, your everything else comes above that. So your sleep is important. So prioritize your sleep, especially during the course of the pageant. And beauty sleep is a thing, like get it, because you're going to have dark under eyes otherwise, and you're going to feel tired throughout. You're not going to be able to give your best. You're going to look exhausted on camera. I used to look exhausted many a times. Yeah, and to avoid that stuff, do that. Next one, a very important one, is to have a plan B. You know what, people who say I only had plan A and nothing else in mind and that's why I got it, they're genuinely lucky people, and luck will not always favor you. I personally worked on Miss India, made it everything for like an entire year, and my end goal was the Miss India World crown, like it was for everybody else who comes into the pageant. You come with the purpose of winning, right? But don't do that. Always think of what if. I thought personally, I had this thinking कि अगर मैं what if सोच लूँ तो the universe will conspire that she doesn't want it enough and will find a way to not give it to me. So no, I'm not going to think of a plan B. This is the only plan I'm going to have. But you should also understand there is something called probability, and there is a probability that you're not going to make it. Because it's a game of chance and it's a game of luck, and there's so many factors involved. Put your heart and soul into the competition and give it your all, but don't think that your life is going to end at the finale day, right? It is not. You have to think going ahead, maybe not a 5-year plan, but at least have like a thought process of the next 6 months. What are you going to do if Miss India doesn't work out for you? Where do you stand? You know, maybe not that much in depth, but once the finale is done, and in case you don't make it, you will not feel utterly and completely lost, and that is a terrible feeling to have. And I'm saying this out of not just my experience, but the experience of all the other state winners. Last one is to reach out to previous state winners. All of them, DM them, email them, find a comment and say that, hey, I want to know. It doesn't matter. Later on, you can go and delete it if you think you'll become a state winner and it might be embarrassing that you put out a query. You're just gonna, think. I mean, that's what I used to think, that I'm just gonna do it with whatever research I've had. But there is so much you're gonna know, and it's always good to be prepared. No matter what people put out, there is a lot that goes within, and it is great to speak to the state winners who have been there, the finalists, so that you get an understanding as to what you're going into, what it holds, what is the future after that, because that's pretty much the course that you too are going to follow. As much as you want to say that you're unique, yes you are, but there is a certain path that is set out in this journey, and you will be able to understand it much better if you reach out to a state winner and ask them relevant questions. Not like, hey, can you share your experience? That's too much. Like, the experience every day you go through, like I can make 1-hour videos about each day and all the things that we did and we felt and the things we could have improved, but no one's going to give you like that sort of an elaborate explanation. But like, point to point, ask relevant things, so that I wish I'd done that. I just reached out to my previous state winner and she kind of didn't respond, because again, a lot of followers, a lot of DMs, hard to respond, hard to accept everything. There will be someone who will respond back to you and answer your queries, and mostly people are really nice. They will help you out, because why wouldn't they? Well, this was it from my side, this introspective video that I came out with. I hope you keep these things in mind. These are very essential things. Might seem really small. There are much bigger things to focus on, which I will make videos about, but at the same time, I think these are the nitty-gritties which I wish I was kind of told to prioritize, because these feel like something that you can manage around with, but sometimes it's the small things that create huge impacts. So keep these things in mind. I will see you for the next video. If there is anything else you want me to make out of this video, of all the things I said, if there's anything you want more elaboration with, comment below. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with other friends who are also aspiring to become beauty queens. And stay beautiful. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.